Welcome to Comic Movie 10, where you get insight into everything comic book movies and television related in 10 minutes or less. I'm Joe Kane.
And I'm Dan Kane. No relation.
relation.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and share and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com.
Today we're talking about Spidey.
Yeah, there's been 3 movie franchises,
Mm-hmm.
3 different Spider-Mans, 3 actors, and we're just going to discuss that. The latest one, Tom Holland, has been introduced into the world of the Avengers, which is just awesome to me.
Well, they went through a metamorphosis of not having availability because Sony owned the rights to Spider-Man.
Right.
And they still own the rights, but they were I feel like they were smart enough to finally go, okay, you know what? Let's like bargain here. We're going to make some money off of this, but we're going to let them use our characters.
Yeah, and this is what people want to see. People want to see Spider-Man in the mix with all these guys. Tom Holland, I'm going to start with him. I think he did a great job. One thing that I liked better about him than the other 2 was he looked like he was in high school.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was a teenage kid going to school, Peter Parker, and he was the first of the 3 that really looked like he was that age to be in a high school.
Honestly, he was 18 years old when he filmed the movie. So, looking at that, he was, he's a teenager still.
Right.
Freshly graduated out of high school. He's playing a couple years younger than he is.
Yeah.
I think he was cast when he was 16 or 17. He's in that age range where it's like, okay, he's
Tobey Maguire looked like he was 30 years old.
Well, Tobey Maguire was 30 years old, I think, when he filmed that. But getting back to Tom Holland's, again, he has the Avengers to go off of. He has other characters that are very supportive of Spider-Man. And Spider-Man has always been one of those characters, if you go back into the comics, he was always one of those characters that was in everybody else's stuff. Mm-hmm. He wasn't necessarily... He did his standalone stuff, don't get me wrong, and he had a great rogues gallery of villains.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But he did trickle into everyone else's comics.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed him. The funny thing is, I at a time enjoyed all 3 of these actors. Tobey Maguire, who started it off, I loved the first film.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe was Green Goblin. You had him, Kirsten Dunst. I enjoyed Tobey Maguire in the first film. The second one with Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, that was another good one. I didn't like it as much, but
you know what? That's very debatable, and we could spend a whole episode just on debating back and forth between Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Alfred Molina knocked it out of the park as
Doc Ock.
Yeah. And knocking out of the park is, something I've said before, and I'll say it again, is, the hero is only as good as the villain. Mm-hmm. And he made a really sinister and believable Doc Ock.
Right. Yeah, he absolutely did. And then the third one came out.
Yeah,
and I'm a huge Venom fan. He's one of my favorite villains of all time. I look forward to it. And
I'm leaving because I refuse to talk about Spider-Man 3.
Oh, okay. Well, the it was just between, Topher Grace is not Eddie Brock. It just didn't work for me.
No, you know what? Eddie Brock was supposed to be, I look who's playing Eddie Brock now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who's supposed to be Eddie Brock.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy, who's a big hulking guy who played Bane.
Right.
Someone who's huge. That's more of the Eddie Brock, is somebody who's physically menacing to Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Topher Grace, no offense to him as a person, I think he was smaller than Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I think he was. And also with the whole, one of my favorite stories regarding Spider-Man and Venom is the whole black suit thing.
Yeah.
Which they made part of it, but they made it so cheesy. When he got the black suit, he was dancing up and down the street with the music, and it just ruined the whole thing to me, even though he did such a great job in the first one. I was done with it.
Yeah, we can't... We got to drop Spider-Man 3. It really is... It should have been dropped years ago. So it's such a bad, incarnation of what was such a good series.
Right.
Is it a horrible, horrible film? No. Did it have its highlights? Yes. But comparatively to the other 2 movies, it was just such a letdown.
Yeah. I think especially, like I said, it was a letdown because the black suit story and Venom were one of my favorites. Well, let me ask you about Andrew Garfield.
Okay, Andrew Garfield. At the time that Andrew Garfield came out and started playing, this was the Amazing Spider-Man series that came out. There were 2 films. At that time, we were left with a bad taste in our mouth from Tobey Maguire's last performance, dancing down the street in a black suit. Looking at that and going, okay, well, Andrew Garfield came in and, completely made the character again into something that was young and fresh and new.
Right. Absolutely. I really enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, Andrew Garfield. His relationship on screen with Emma Stone, with Gwen Stacy, in both of those films was awesome. I just happened to like the first one better than the second one, but both films, the two of them together, was awesome. And I thoroughly enjoyed him as Spider-Man. I really did.
Yeah.
But the second one got a little messy.
There was some messy there, but there were a lot of good things when you look back at it. I mean, the whole idea of killing off Gwen Stacy, that came straight out of the comics. Right. That picture of him being in a bell tower, I think it was it was supposed to be a bell tower, or it was a bell tower, whatever it was. Coming in the tower, she falls down the tower because of the Green Goblin, and he scoops her by shooting a line of web to her and snaps her back.
Right.
That is an iconic picture right out of the comics.
Right. And I like that they went different with Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, that's part of the comics, but you had Gwen Stacy, but which a lot of people didn't know who that was. It introduced it to a lot of people.
It brought it into the mainstream. If you weren't a comic book junkie, you didn't know about this.
Right. Absolutely. So having said that, if I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably...
Is that where we're at already?
I think that's where we're at. And you know what? And we have to give credit to all of them, because
let's give a couple of positive things before we pick a favorite.
Okay.
Give a positive thing about each of them.
Well, Tom Holland, that he was again, he seemed like the quintessential Peter Parker.
Yeah, because he's a kid.
He's a kid that he played it right. And also I think that there's positive things to come with that series because it's tied into the rest of the Marvel universe.
Well, we're looking forward to the Infinity Stone Infinity War, with him in it, which obviously he's in it wearing the Iron Spider suit. So I'm looking forward to that.
Andrew Garfield, again, I thought I just, best way to sum it up is I just enjoyed him as Spider-Man overall in the first.
He was very witty. He was very, there were a lot of things going on where he was, confident, maybe perhaps too confident as Peter Parker.
Maybe. But one thing I will say, just to give all three of them credit right in one shot, is that with having so many of these come out in such a short period of time, in a 14-year span, you had 3 different franchises. It would have been very easy to totally mess that up.
Sure.
And they all did really good jobs with the role.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Having Ben come out every couple of years, with the 3 years in between each.
Tobey Maguire originated a role that was, before this, not done to this level. It was done at a blockbuster thing. So I'm going to give Tobey Maguire's that standing, that he got to take this role to a major blockbuster era. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a positive for him.
Right.
So, him being able to do that and then having even the other subsequent following people still be able to keep Spider-Man as a blockbuster film,
right,
is really
right
a testament to Stan Lee's original creation of Spider-Man so many years ago.
Right, absolutely. So with that being said, if I have to pick a favorite, I'm going to give a 2-part answer.
I don't like 2-part answers. You have to be definitive.
Too bad. So if I was picking a favorite single film,
sure,
I would probably go with the first Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
Honestly. But if I'm picking a favorite person to play Spider-Man, I have to go with Tom Holland.
Okay. I'm just going to go with Tom Holland.
That's fair enough.
We'd like to hear from you guys, so please leave in the comments what you guys think. Who do you like better, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland?
We love bringing you these episodes, and we need your help to keep them coming.
Please don't forget to share and subscribe, and keep up with us at hecklerkane.com.